So lizard, what were we saying? Lizard did what now?
We were talking about him coming out as a homosexual in the story.
No, I would never. Um, Lizard comes up with 3 ideas. Just six ideas. Just we already talked about it.
And the scientists, they got
So do we want to make this... Before we were not really going to give the scientists their own individual perspectives, but I guess it would be kind of interesting to just explore the materialist perspective from the view of the scientist.
yeah, that's from the view of the experimenters and the guys in charge of
Yes.
programming.
Yes.
I do think we make the guards completely different people than the scientists. That way we leave the scientists. Yeah, I want to give the scientists more wiggle room for morality.
Okay.
So I want the guard. I want like maybe they don't know as much as maybe like they think he's an adult. I don't. Well, I guess I don't want the scientists to really know him. The acythrial.
Yeah, I mean, you could have the scientists be like, "Hey, man, I'm just doing my job here. I'm just trying to progress."
But beyond that, I don't even think they know. Like, in other words, like, if you had someone like Albert Einstein, who are the people you need to work on a project like this, he wouldn't be the kind of person to just be like, "Hey, man, I'm just doing my job." And it's like that's the kind of people you need this part. You need Albert Einsteins. So I think they don't even. I think to them, all they know is that they're getting data back. They don't know that it's being harvested from the mind of a fucking 3-year-old. So then we can explore materialism through Omniverse.
So, if we're doing this, go ahead and add the acythrial.
But so I was saying, this is what I'm saying. We need to change will to taste because it's a name taken from the lizard, which makes it seem like the lizard's idea is step 4 and that step 5 is somehow better when in reality they're the same, and this step needs to be completely unrelated to the lizard, and it needs to be more of a psychological aspect, and that way you can say that the lizard got it correct by saying there is zix, because even we found like those are basically the 3 layers of reality, even though it's kind of gay to even say that because it's like saying, you know what I mean, the 3 layers of this dirt. It's like it's all dirt. Not a great example, you know what I mean. There is no way to tell. Like 3 kinds of particles, they all really fold into each other when you look at the very bottom of physics. They're all really each other anyways.
You're just labeling parts of the same thing.
But yeah, everyone gets it. It's kind of gay to call them their own individual things. They are not. But the point is that the 2 that are not the big 3, you can say that they're just psychological. That's why they're different. It's not that the lizard got something wrong. It's not that he missed something in the metaphysical structure. It's that those are just not metaphysical. They're personal, and that's why. That's just what the average person needs to understand it, and that's why it's there.
And that can be what acythrial says.
He's like, okay, well, here, everyone, look, you get this, you get this, you get this. Well, now put those in there, and you get
Get them all together, and
you get a little bit of religious seizures. You get a little spice running in your back, a little bit of salt and pepper.
so he's the one that just causes the entire thing to hand.
Yeah, he's the one who's like, everybody, listen, I'm sorry I gave you stupid retards a simulation, but here, just take this as my parting gift. And the government blows his brains out.
Step hand plan.
And then you have the regular person, and they're just gonna represent you, and he's gonna be a loser. He doesn't get the frame rate first, and then finally he gets that running. Yeah, he's just a loser. So, step 4, loser. And that's basically how we explored the last couple months.
Yeah.
And then that's it, right? Other than that, you got nope. Well, the computer, but that's not its own character. That's just its own thing.
Yeah.
But it does represent a different layer. Okay. So now, how are we gonna do that? Where are we gonna change them to? TTMP is sort of fine on its own, right? It's sort of already psychological in nature. Thought texture max efficiency principle, pretty self-explanatory. Oh, well, that guy also has to come up with thought textures. So maybe we say that the lizard doesn't say person frameworks reality. He says thought textures frameworks reality.
Alright. Um, does he posit the TT and EP?
No, I think that would be acythrial, right? Acythrial's going to posit 2 and 4. So, but the question is, what do you change 4 to? It's currently will to taste. We should call it folding up as a good placeholder. Put that in instead. Put will to taste here instead of reality god. You just put WTT. But remove will to taste and then put folding up. Yes. Yes. Much better. That's so much less confusing than saying, though there's this model of God which sort of explains the psychological effect and also explains your relation to every connection, but then there's also this layer of God which, when viewed metaphysically, you could say they're the same layer because they're both the top layer. However, one denotes this particular psychological aspect, while the other denotes a more thought texture oriented personality translator. It's like, instead you can just say folding up, which means something different than the final layer, which is examples. And then you guess you can put 6, which is portal or pinch. Put space ring by ASICS. Ring. We need to add a ring to the image. The ring symbolizes breathing.
Okay.
It always did. Put portal / Tao symbol. That's what it used to be. Okay. Should we keep it folding up? Should we keep ETT and EP? 6 A6 are good, but those are okay. You could just easily say slingshot here. I always call it the step of no self. Okay, I'm just going to go through all of them and what they mean. My personal experience with them. So, Zix. Zix basically is going to say that you exist. You are an individual within the simulation, right? Because you have the story as a reference point. And just like all the individuals in the simulation, you aren't really extricable from the simulation, but nonetheless you have the illusion of individuality granted to you by the nature of the piece of the simulation which you are within. And being an entity within the simulation, do you want to taste the best thought textures or be happy, as to put it a generic way, but it goes deeper than being happy, obviously. It's in every moment of your life you wish to experience the best possible way that your brain can be formed, the best possible experience, and you need to, not only that is true whether or not that you realize it is true. That is true of everything. That is true of even non-human. Obviously, animals exhibit the same tendencies to move towards the greater experiences, and that is self-evident in humans. But you need to go beyond understanding that it is the thing which motivates your actions, and you need to actively make it the motivator of your actions. You need to, in every moment, think, okay, well, I'm about to scream at my teacher. The reason I'm about to do this is not because of some moral principle, because it is good or bad, because it is deserved or undeserved, but because this is going to result in a particular set of thought textures. I've understood the consequences, and I am making the conscious decision that the thought textures that I will experience from yelling at this teacher are worth the detention that I'm going to get afterwards. That needs to become a part of your life. The constant evaluation and understanding that there is nothing except thought textures, there is no good or bad or you that needs to do things. Those are all just symptoms of wanting to experience the best thought texture. And then you have ASICs. Now, this was also explained in the simulation. Now, this says there are different sets of code within the computer. And these different sets of code result in different experiences. Just like there are different sets of neuron arrangements within your brain that can result in particular experiences. If I poke correct centers of your brain, I can flood you with dopamine. If I give you a pill, I can influence the way that you think. You are only these buttons. The dopamine is one individual button that I can press to elicit a particular experience, but all of your experiences are only the result of buttons. And from this, you realize, step 4, that if this is the case, then these thoughts, these words, the experience of my lips moving, but not just my lips moving, but actively whenever I try to look within my own brain and say, I am not these things. Not just that, but that the thing which is thinking that I am not these things is not me. And not just that, but the thing that is thinking that I am not those things. I need to be going down into the individual moments, not just the words, not just the sentence that I am not these things, but breaking it down to the point where, as the audio, as the words unfold within your head that you are not those things, that the experience of each individual neurosecond of those words playing within your mind is also not you. And that is the experience of folding up. And whenever you've successfully folded up, you reach step 5, which is exasics. This is also explained within the story. At this step, you realize that if there is no you, and even these moments, even these seconds are not you, they are just other series of buttons, then you must be the thing which is experiencing the pressing, all of the pressing. And you cannot separate and say that you are any individual set of buttons. You must be all of the buttons pressed at the same time. You must be everything. You must be the entire machine. And this is when you reach the portal / DAO. This is when you reach the level in which there can be absolutely nothing except all of these buttons. And each individual button that you press is just a symptom of the beautiful unleashing.
So, is this not kind of like what was called the black hole white hole dealio, where this is like you reaching the thing, and this is the effect that it has on you?
We're going to start going over this. You're going to see that every single framework that we've ever built is held within different features. This one, right? This one's the slingshot. So start writing this down because we're going to need this later. Slingshot, write that beside folding up. Write black hole and white hole besides the ones that you thought were black hole and white hole.
I don't know which color means what.
It's fine. Now, also do question mark and exclamation mark beside black hole and white hole.
Yeah.
Do Athenos. Do A, the, and no. No. A on Zix. Twin Peaks. You can write that on portal / DAO. This is a combination of exasics and portal / DAO, but you can write, I think under exasics would be the best one, if we were only to pick one, would be to write divine lightning. On TTMEP, you can write mindset switching, frameworks. I mean, yeah, we don't need to go on, but as you can see, like, every single thing that we've ever built fits onto this structure right here. Yeah. And now we finally have it in a state where I think it's simple enough. It's literally just like, listen, the story tells you, you're you, okay, you get that, okay, you want to experience good things, right? Yeah, okay. Well, the thing which wants to experience good things, right, that has to be built up of other things, right? Your experience of breathing, which is the ring, that's the example I explained. I intend to use, and that's also something I need to start doing is personally in every moment. Watch for that ring. Watch for the breathing. I completely just blanked on what I was saying, but The breathing is an experience that is only caused because your lungs are contracting and expanding, which is sending a signal through the neurons in your spine up to your brain, which presses a series of buttons in your brain, which tells you this is the experience of what it feels like to breathe. If I took your brainstem and I put a few other neurons in there, I could send a different signal, and I could make you think that that's what it felt like to breathe. And if I did that since you were a baby, then you would think your whole life that's what it felt like to breathe. I could make you think it was extremely painful. I could make you think it was extremely painful. I could make you think that breathing is whatever I wanted you to think, because your experience of breathing is only defined by the buttons that are being pressed on your brain, and that is how every single experience that you've ever experienced is. And that one's always a tough sell, but is what it is. So you move into folding up, which is okay. So, and now if that's true, then every single thing which you experience is just a result of these buttons being pressed. You, this moment, right now, these moments in which you're pondering the fact that you are not you, are just the thing beyond not you. God, reality, whatever surname you want to use. We'll use Exasics. And with Exasics, you understand that this is the divine lightning stage where you realize, okay, I am God. Okay, if there's no me, then guess what? I am God. And then you finally reach Portal/Tao, where it's like, there isn't even, like, there's still a thing which says I am God, but you aren't that thing. You just watch that thing flow past, because you are all of existence.
Now you're in the state.
Oh yeah, baby! Were we recording? Was it successfully recording? I bet it wasn't.
It was.
It was? Oh boy! Presumably so. Let's hope so. Imagine we can't hear us in the rerun. Let's just go ahead and stop it and see if we can
Well, I mean, this tells us that the mic is doing something.
Stop it and